In this amateur footage, a home of a young man who's also a political activist was bombed. While others remain in the country, some are forced to flee to nearby South Africa and other countries as political refugees. These young men are just a handful of many political activists living in South Africa, struggling to survive following alleged persecution in their own country.
I was advised by the leaders of the movement to try and go to South Africa to seek refuge, as there was this rumor that as the king had pronounced in the royal crawl that whenever they found these terrorists, they must make sure that they strangle them to death.
We do want to go back home because we miss our relatives, and some of us who are having kids, we can't see them, we can't support them.
The people are not free, and South Africa and the entire SADC community can put pressure on the king, on Mswati, because it really sounds like there are some double standards. If they can speak out on Zimbabwe yet be quiet on Swaziland, it makes it a bit two-faced, because why are they quiet on Swaziland? Why are they speaking out on Zimbabwe? Because actually Mswati is even worse than Mugabe. At least in Zimbabwe people can vote, you know. But in Swaziland that doesn't happen. And we would really like the South African government to take a stand, a firm stand, and liberate the people of Swaziland.
It seems as if Swazis are divided in terms of the way forward for the country, despite agreeing that there is indeed a need for change. Increasingly, the country is finding itself in more financial troubles. The blame is put squarely on the royal family and corruption in government. But experts say the country also needs to be self-sustainable economically.
We have made demands. The first one to the European Union that we need smart sanctions against the king, his immediate family, and the cronies. We have also said to the international community that the reason why this dictatorship looks like sustaining itself, it is because of funding from international organizations.
As the campaign for the isolation of Mswati and his government gains momentum, supporters of democracy say they are disturbed by the silence of South Africa and the region regarding the Swaziland situation.
The South African government is looking after our comrades who are in exile in South Africa. I know they're taking care of some of the Swazis who are disadvantaged here. However, I believe that the South African government, in particular the African National Congress, who have experienced hardships while in Swaziland, I think that should be the first organization that would assist or be in solidarity with the struggling masses of Swaziland.
A quiet, silent, diplomatic approach is not helpful. People are dying there. There has to be a push, a rigorous push by South Africa calling for changes in Swaziland. They must consider cutting certain ties on strategic sides with Swaziland so that we can encourage the system there to allow a political democracy there.
The issues of intra-state conflict or challenges of a political nature in the region would be handled by the SADC organ on politics and defense. And the matter of Swaziland has not been on the agenda, but I'm sure as the situation continues, it will come up, and South Africa will make its contribution at that level because, as you know, a foreign policy of non-interference in the affairs of another sovereign state would be the guiding policy in this particular matter. The affairs of Swaziland would be best handled by the relevant affected parties in that country.
Despite numerous emails and phone calls requesting an interview with the High Commission of Swaziland in South Africa, we failed to secure an interview. On the radical front are those calling for either constitutional democracy or a total toppling of the monarchy. However, others say the monarchy is vital to Swaziland's stability and the change should have the king at the center.
The truth is we have to change. The truth is there's not going to be a revolution to take Mswati out now. That's a fact. But he knows, the king, everybody knows that we need to make a change in the way we run this country. But even those who are pressure groups sitting outside the country know that change in Swaziland is not going to happen without the king being there as part of that change. We need to make him see that time has come for him to change. We need to pressurize him rather than saying we're going to topple him. Because the truth is, without a king, I think Swazis would have serious problems bowing to any authority less than a king.
But for as long as the process of democratization and change is slow, the number of casualties such as those epitomized by Sipho Jele's death will continue to rise. And by the end of it all, for some, the scars might just be too difficult to heal.
Ukuthi bebangaze bambulala umntwana bangamtekisi icala bonke bateke emasaka abentini kangaka